Good morning, welcome to Furry and Spoilt. Today I'm going to be giving you dog arthritis, the 6-week supplement update. So I started him on a various selection of supplements 6 weeks ago, and if you want to see what those supplements are and how those supplements work and why I chose to use them all together, then I've done a video about that. And what I'll do is I will pop the video up at the end of this video. So as you can see, we've got Humps here, and he's actually been digging a hole. Digging a hole is his new thing to do, and many will say I shouldn't let him do it, but I do let him do it because he's in a situation now where he can dig a hole. And 6 weeks ago, there was no way on this planet, or no way, that he would have been able to dig a hole. His legs just were no way up to it. So if he wants to dig a hole, he's very welcome to dig a hole with his little sidekick Harry. So what I'm going to do is, so 6 weeks ago I wrote a list of all the things of how his life were, and it was really shocking how awful things were and how bad it was for him. I mean, it was terrible. So I'm going to go through that list of things that I wrote down 6 weeks ago, and then I'm going to go through one by one and tell you how much that's improved. If you don't have time to watch this whole video, you just want a quick update, it is unbelievable how good the progress has been in his legs. Absolutely unbelievable. And to all the people who said to me that I was stupid because I was going on supplements and I was ignoring what vets were saying, let me tell you, I have no doubts I 100% did the right thing. The progress he's made has been so good. But if you want me to go into more detail with each individual thing and how it's been going, then I'll go through that with you now. So here he is playing, and what I want him to do, I don't know if he will, is get up and then get back down. So you can see how easily he's able. Look, I mean, look at him there. He doesn't look like those back legs are causing him any bother, does he? But you see how he's moving them and stretching them. He just wasn't able to do that 6 weeks ago. I mean, look how he's flinging him about. I mean, he just wasn't able to do that. What I really want you to do is see him sit down. There we go. Perfect. Because when we first got him, if he went to sit down, he would have to think about it, and it would be planned, and it would be very slow and very sort of thought through. And you saw then how he's just flung himself on the floor. You might be able to see there, the hair in between his pads is really long, and I've really got to groom them. So I'm working on that. So what I'm actually doing is I'm able to brush him everywhere apart from his back legs. But what I'm going to start doing this week is I'm going to start brushing him down, make the strokes go longer so that they're actually going down to his back legs. The worst that will happen if he doesn't want me doing it is that he'll give like a warning bite. He won't actually bite me. He'll just give a warning bite. But I mean, you can see there, those legs do not look like they are bothering him now. So with grooming of his back legs, I'd like him to sit down. There we go. See there how he's just flinging himself down on the floor. Just brilliant. So with the grooming, it's not really, I don't really think it's a pain issue now. I think it's more that he's just not used to anybody possibly ever touching those back legs, and if they did touch them, then it would have really hurt because the arthritis would have really hurt. So you see there, he slightly lifted that back leg again there. So it's not over. It's not, well, arthritis can't be over, unfortunately, but you see how he's just flinging himself around, and the improvement on that is great. I am so gutted that I didn't record videos of when we first got him. And then I mean, I've got it all in my head as a memory, but it would have been a really good comparison. Although saying that, I think what I might do is go back and watch some of the videos where he first started appearing in them when we got him. So we got him right at the end of August. So I might go back and watch some of them and see if there's any of him actually walking. There might be. I'm going to go and do that. I mean, I don't know if on there will be him struggling a bit, but it might be worth having a look at. I'll do that, and I'll let you know in a minute in the video which videos you can see him walking on, so you can see the difference. But it's just so lovely just to see him being able to be like that. And just generally, I mean, because of where, he's come from, Korea, the meat trade, the awful hell of that. Just to be able to see him playing and that, it's just so lovely. So that is that progress. I'm just going to update you on a few little things while we watch him have his sleep. Like the car. So he couldn't obviously jump into the... So Harry and Albert, my other two dogs, they get into on the back seat. The back seat's all kitted out safely for them, so they get in there. The idea was that Humps was going to get in there with them, but there was no way on this earth he could jump up onto there, into there. It's quite high. And so Albert can't jump in there just because he's little. So we just pick him up and put him in. Picking Humps up 6 weeks ago, you would get your head bitten off. There was no way on this earth you could pick him up. Plus, he's, you know, back then, he was really overweight. He's lost so much weight, but a good steady amount at a steady pace. He has still got a bit to go, but he's lost so much weight. And so it would now be a lot easier to pick him up. But back then, he was heavy, it would have been awkward, and he would have bitten you. So it was really bad. So what we did was, he went into... So when we took them out, my husband would drive and I'd go into the passenger seat, and Humps would get into the footwell with me, you know, by my feet in the car. So he was able to get in there. Now he had to... It wasn't high, our car was not high, but he couldn't just jump in there. He had to... It was a climb. He could do it fine, and it wasn't causing him any damage. It wasn't uncomfortable, but it probably was very uncomfortable, but he could do it. We had to get him to get in with treats and stuff, but he was doing it, and he was fine when he was in there. But when he was in there, I was really worried because my boots, and my walking boots are quite chunky, they would be right by his back legs, and I was nervous that if I touched the back leg, then especially because the bad back leg was right by me, and so that was a concern. So it was all right, we were doing it, but it wasn't a great setup. Now he bounces in and out of the car. He hardly touches the actual edge of the car. It just bounces in, bounces out. I've still got him in the footwell because there's no way he'd be able to get up into the back of the car, and I'm not comfortable with picking him up yet. I have picked him up a couple of times. I've needed to for different situations, but it's not something that I want to be doing every morning, especially not in the morning, because that is when his arthritis was at the worst. But now he's bouncing in and out of the car, no problem. He can't get out quick enough. He's really bouncing in and out of the car fine. And he's leaning that back leg. I mean, he pushes it into me, actually leans on my boots now. And so the improvement there has been really, really good. The groomers, right, so I'm not quite sure where I was at when I spoke to you last about him, but I have taken him to 2 groomers. Now we groom our other dogs ourselves, but we decided that we would let Humps have somebody who was a bit more professional about it, and that didn't turn out because both of the groomers I met turned out to be useless, because we before we took them there, I explained he's a dog from South Korea, from the meat trade, massive handling issues, very nervous about stuff, and then on top of that he has terrible arthritis, and so did they think it was something that they could do? And I explained, I don't care if I have to pay for you just to sit and stroke him for half an hour. I don't care. Whatever it takes for you to be able to get to groom him. And they were both like, yeah, no problem. We can do it. We do it all the time. That's no problem. When we got there, it was clear as day that they weren't willing to put the effort in, even though I was prepared to pay them to just cuddle him or stroke him and not do any grooming and do it as slow as it took. Neither of them could be bothered. They just couldn't be bothered. They just did not care, couldn't be bothered. So I gave up on that whole idea. And one of them didn't listen to anything I stayed with him the whole time. I was right there. But they didn't listen to the fact I said, like, this is his arthritic leg. You won't be able to touch that yet. Let's just go nice and slowly. Let's see how we go. Didn't listen to me at all. And she just yanked it out from behind him, straight into work on it, and he went to bite her. He didn't get her, but he went to bite her, and that was completely her own fault. So you know how my opinion on groomers, I really don't like them. I think they're just there to make money, don't give a damn about the dogs. Well, that just, I went to give them another chance, and I would have been fair. If it had been a good experience, I would have said that on here, but it wasn't. They just proved to me exactly what I had thought, so that didn't work. So I am doing his grooming myself, well, me and my husband. So at the moment, I'm able to brush him. I've always been able to brush him. He doesn't have a problem with that at all. So I'm able to brush him, but not around his back legs. Now, I suspect, because of how well his back legs are doing, that I'm not far off being able to brush his back legs. But until I'm sure, I'm not going to do it, because I don't ever want to put him into a situation where he feels like, oh, you're hurting me, or you've gone near an area. And I think I don't think this, I know this. What's happening is, because he's been so used to defending that area and not letting anybody near his back legs, that even though the pain might not be anywhere near as bad, if any pain at all, he is just so used to defending those back legs, and so if anybody goes near them, he almost overreacts. Well, he used to overreact now. And another thing that's really good, so Albert, my other little boy, this is my little Albert here, he has learning difficulties, and so he could not get it through. He just could not get the concept that you have to stay away from Hump's back legs. And so Humpstead used to growl at him, which wasn't a problem because it was teaching Albert in a way that I could never teach him. And now Albert does stand on his tail and is very close to his back legs, and Humps doesn't seem to care. So I know that's another sign that everything's improving. So with the grooming situation, so I'm doing his back leg, and I'm brushing him every day. I brush him, and I'm able to play with him and belly rubs and do lots of touching and stroking. He loves stroking and cuddles and all of that. But I'm not attempting to actually brush those back legs yet, so that'll be something for the future. Another thing is that he has never been able to get up on the sofa in all this time, and recently, this is a very recent thing, he is now jumping up onto the sofa, so that's a really good sign. That really shows that he's doing well. Because you think when he jumps up on the sofa, that's completely relying on his back legs, and so that's really good. And the other thing is that when he is up on the sofa, he pushes his back legs right into me. He likes to get in as close as he can get for a cuddle, and he's pushing those back legs right in, and there can't be pain there because he wouldn't be doing it. So that again is really good progress. Now this next thing, I'm so happy and so excited about this. So the whole time we've had him, so we've had him about 12 weeks, I think now, and he has never in that time cleaned around his anywhere near his tail, his bottom area, back legs. Never. He's never never cleaned it, never groomed it. He just couldn't. He couldn't do that turn, and now he can. And so the day that I was sat here where I'm sitting now, I sit here to work, he was where he is now on his bed, and then just suddenly he just started cleaning around his back end, and he has never ever done that. And so that was a very happy day, and now that's just regular. He just does it like a normal dog. And scratching his ears. I've never seen him in the whole 12 weeks scratch his ears, so I always make sure that his ears are good, and I just scratch his ears for him. I've never seen him scratch it. He scratches him by rubbing him along the carpet, I think, but he never has actually done it with his with his legs. And then he started to do it. So his back legs, he's got arthritis in both of them, but one of them was particularly bad. And so he started scratching his ears with the good back leg, or the better out of the two. But recently, the last few days, he started to scratch his ears with the really bad back leg, and I'm so happy about that, because when I watch him do it, that's awkward, and if the arthritis is still, it just can't be, because of the position he's getting into, and it's something that he's never done. So that's just so good. And then the other new thing that's just been the last couple of days, as you saw in the beginning of the video, digging holes in the garden. So that's a completely new thing. He has never done that before. And he's never really ventured massively out into the back of the garden. He always stays around the patio area. But so this digging holes in the garden, and I know some of you will say I shouldn't be letting him do it and all of that, but if he wants to dig holes in the garden, I'm letting him, because he can. And if he can, it's supervised. I'm out there, I'm watching an eye on it, and I'm not going to let the hole, because I thought, oh no, can he dig a hole big enough and get under the fence? But he can't, because there's trees there, and the roots from the trees are actually making it's not actually that easy to dig. There's not a lot to dig, but I'm keeping an eye on the hole. Don't worry, there will be no escaping happening. So yeah, I'm just so pleased with all of that. That's it's all going very well, and it's telling me that his legs are feeling so much better. Can you see him scratching that ear? that leg that he's scratching it with is the really, really bad leg that he couldn't even stand on 12 weeks ago. So that's great news. That was good timing. I just picked up my camera and he happened to start scratching. So that's absolutely brilliant. So when we're out on our walks, he is walking absolutely spectacularly, aren't you, darling? So the two main things are that now when he's going for a pee, he's not weeing like a girl anymore. He's weeing like a boy, which is very good, because when we first got him, he couldn't stand on those back legs to go to toilet. Oh, please go to toilet. Please demonstrate for me. Wouldn't it be great if you demonstrated now? Go on, demonstrate. No, he's not going to. Is he going to demonstrate? He's going to demonstrate. No, he's not. Anyway, so he's not weeing like a girl anymore, because when we first got him, he couldn't use those back legs to go to toilet properly and lift his leg, and now he is lifting, he even stands on the really, really bad leg. So that's really, really good. Really, really pleased with that. Oh, he's off to somewhere else. Yeah, he even stands on the really bad leg to have a piddle, so very pleased about that. And the other thing that he's doing now is he's you know when they go to toilet and then they like to mark their territory, he's kicking his back legs out after he's been to toilet, which I've never ever seen him do. He's never done that. So he's kicking his back legs out now when he's been to toilet. So I'm very happy about that, because that must put a lot of force on the legs and he's able to do that. And it must just make him feel more confident and better about himself. And just in general, he's walking really, really great, aren't you, darling? Loving his walks. He's much faster. He's only sitting down now because I've asked him to sit down while I record, but before he was sitting down all the time. He's not doing that anymore. And before, when it was raining and cold, you could just tell that he was miserable. But I still took him out slowly, because if you watch my video about exercise, you'll know how important, you'll know how important that is, but and how much it helps and how vital it is. But now he doesn't care about what weather it is. He's just happy to be out. He loves his walk. So altogether, very, very happy with all of that. So that's it, isn't it, Humps? It's all going very, very well indeed. It's all going very, very well indeed, isn't it, darling? I've looked through the old videos. There isn't really a video where you can see him walking really to the extent that I would want you to have seen. But what was happening was, first of all, the legs were really skinny and there was no muscle there. So I've really worked at building that muscle up now. And they were really shaky, really, really shaky all the time. And on top of that, he was really fat. So he's got this big fat body and then tiny little skinny, shaky legs. So, yeah, we've sorted all of that out. So if you want to, there's a whole series of videos that I've done on arthritis. The first one is about everything I've done. So changing food, losing weight, just everything. Making sure he's getting plenty of sleep so he's healing. Just everything that I've done. And then there's, you know, one by one, I break down every single thing that I've done. And I've looked at the scientific facts of why it works. And it's really, really interesting. So it's well worth having a look at. So, as always, that's it for today. If you've got any questions about this, please don't hesitate to put them into comments. Or even if you just have got a dog that's got arthritis, if you just let me know how that's going and what treatments you're using. And as always, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, and, you know, you can contact me anytime you want to, and ask me any questions you want, or just tell me your story. I love it when you tell me about your dogs, and how things are going, and it's just really interesting to know, and it's just really nice to learn different things. And if you've got a different way that you've dealt with arthritis, then I'd be really interested to know that. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that your dogs and your their arthritis, you know, you're able to heal it quickly, because it's such a horrible thing. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.